Got those old guy glasses going, Jerry.
Yeah, yeah. I can't read anything up close anymore. I gotta put the glasses on.
I can't see things far away, but now if a label is too tiny, oh boy, I gotta take a picture of it and then fucking do that, and it makes you feel a lot older than you are.
Um, yeah, I think that's part of it for sure.
What year were you born?
67. So I'm
Okay,
58.
all right, so you're 5 years older than me, so we're
Great. Thank
sort
you.
of so we're sort of the same generation ish. So you
Yeah.
graduated in like 85,
86.
86.
Yeah.
Great year 86.
Yeah.
We had dude, I look back at the movies they released in the summer of the 80s, dude. We had it so good.
Oh, it was fantastic. There were some great films that came out during that time frame. But I remember the films when I was younger too. Star Wars and Aliens or I'm sorry, Alien, the first one. But
Yeah, see, I don't think I saw Star Wars in the theater. I think I saw Empire Strikes Back in the theater. I don't remember. But I remember in the 80s I was in middle school and early high school, and I remember one summer I'd have to go look it up, but I feel like I saw like Top Gun, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, like just all these like classics in like one summer.
yeah,
Stand by Me, like
yes, yeah,
such
great, yeah,
right.
yeah. So I was, I think, I can't remember. I think Top Gun had come out just before I went to Marine Corps recruit training.
Right.
So I remember seeing that, and then that damn song was stuck in my head by "Take My Breath Away."
Oh, I thought you were going to say the other one. Dun,
No,
dun, dun,
Berlin,
dun, dun, dun,
because
dun, dun,
yeah,
dun.
that was
Highway
yeah,
to
that's
the
oh, I can't think of his name now.
Kenny
Uh,
Loggins.
yeah, Kenny Loggins. So, but the other one was because I was in recruit training, and you'd hear it on radios, like it'd be at medical or I'd be
Take My Breath
someplace,
Away. Yeah, that was
and
that
it's in the fourth quarter. And it's like, and you're like,
non nonstop. But here, but she
but
must
the
be
other,
upset though because Danger Zone is still like
oh,
the
that's
kind of the
that's
go to,
classic
right?
rock and roll tune. Yeah, yeah.
Did you see Top Gun Maverick?
Yes, I did.
What were your thoughts?
You know what? Which was interesting is basically the same storyline, but they added a few twists. Um, but I thought it was well done, really, really well done. And again, I'm impressed with Tom Cruise because being an endurance athlete, I like the whole. Hey, you know what? If we're gonna make this, we're gonna make it look as real as possible. So your asses are getting in jets, and I like that. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, they say so. I forgot who said this first, but I think it was a famous director. He said people go to sequels for comfort. So that's why a lot of times they're just kind of replaying the hits. I like it if they can maybe elevate it a little bit, not just
Yeah.
like here's the same story with a couple of new characters. I mean, it's nice with the homages, like they had that fucked up football on the beach that was supposed to be like the volleyball, like that kind of stuff's cool. But
Right.
let's not repeat it beat for beat. But have you heard the conspiracy theories about this movie, like the crazy conspiracy, like about what the movie's about?
No, no, no. I have not.
So spoilers, there's spoilers for people who haven't watched it. I'll give you a second to stop your podcast now. Go watch the movie. Okay, you're back to
Pause,
watching.
people.
Okay, so you know how at the beginning he has that big crash, right?
Right, right.
The very beginning.
Yeah.
So the theory is that he actually dies in that crash. The rest of the movie's a dream.
Duly noted.
Where he saves the world and does all this stuff, like it's all a dream, right? He reunites with Iceman,
Iceman.
R.I.P.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that's like a theory out there. Just throwing it out there. So listen,
Wow,
uh,
that's hilarious. That's pretty funny.
so I want to talk to you about like when did you and your brother get involved with obstacle racing?
Oh gosh, that would be I believe in December 2012.
Have you and I met before?
You know what? You look familiar, but I'm not sure.
Because I go back that far too. You go if
Yeah,
you go back to the old days. What was your first one in California?
yeah.
Which
Spark
one?
race,
Do you remember which one?
Malibu.
Okay, so I didn't do that one. I think that was the one that Hunter did, right? Was that the famous one where Hunter raced Toby for the first time?
I think it might have been the second one, but it could have been. I don't remember because I didn't know. I didn't know Hunter. I didn't know Toby. I knew of Toby, but I hadn't like followed him just yet. And then him being the goat of Spartan racing. I mean, that guy's a beast.
Yeah.
Um,
I
uh,
did I did Temecula, I want to say 13 or 14. So
yeah,
one of the
then we
one of
were
the
there.
early ones. Yeah,
Yeah, then
so
we were there.
we probably
Yeah,
passed each other.
yeah.
And so just kind of can you talk to me about how it affected you and your life?
Oh, um, we're Marines, so it actually brought us back to that camaraderie of some of the people we met along the way and as it grew. But it was a friend of ours, Sonia Jimenez. We call her Happy Hour. That's another story, Temecula story. Um, but she says, "Oh, I want to do this race," and I'm like, okay, well, what is it? And it wasn't your typical 5K or anything. And we go online and we look at it. Dingo and I take a look at it. And we look at her and we say, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" She's like, "Yeah." And I said, "This is a lot like some of the things we do in recruit training. It's a long obstacle course." Um, and so we talked about it and said, "Okay, let's go, let's do it." And then we practiced or trained or however you want to call it, and she did some running, and we went. And Malibu is beautiful. That place is known for having wonderful beaches, fantastic places, skyline, or scenery and so forth. But anyhow, it drizzled. It didn't rain and it didn't mist. It drizzled all day long, and I thought that was like, okay, this is going to suck. And it did. I mean, it was muddy. It was drizzling rain. It was a little cold, and it was just absolutely horrible. She was crying through the course, and we get, her brother is a Marine, and he was killed in the first Gulf War, and so that was one of the things that was a driving force for her. Because I told her, hey, he's watching. You need to get moving. And he's watching and he's laughing his ass off because you wanted to jump in here and see what it was like. And so, what it was said and done, though, we encouraged her and lifted her up and said, hey, your brother was watching, and he said, yeah, now you know what it's like. When we have to be out in the field or do any extra training, and it can get that way in those type of environments or settings and so forth. But it turned out to be just one of those adrenaline things. When we finished it, it was like fantastic. And like I said, she was crying on the course and ready to give in. But as soon as it was done, it's like, okay, well, when are we doing the next one? It's like,
Right.
hey, are you crazy?
Right.
And that's pretty much how it starts. I mean, you get that bug, and you're like, let's see what else we can do. Um, so
So
it was a lot of fun.
so since you've gotten back from, whatever initial military stuff, have you and your brother always like lived near each other? Have you always spent a lot of time together?
Um, it's funny, just to give you a quick synopsis. Elementary school, we were always in the same class, and in the fifth grade, I got held back. I guess I wasn't the bright one, but I got held back in the fifth grade. So now we are separated. So unlike other twins who grow up together, if you will, by the time we got to sixth grade, we were in separate classes, and then we started getting separated. So we were basically like brothers, if you will, for the longest time. I don't remember or recall very much of him in junior high because we were a year apart. He was the first ninth grade class at our high school, Santa Barbara High School, and I was at Santa Barbara Junior High. And so, junior high, we just, see him at home and for dinner and whatnot, or we'd hang out, but he had his own set of friends. I had my set of friends. It was really weird. And in high school, we were on the wrestling team together, and we were in ROTC. And so, yeah, we started to build that bond again, or that what never really ended, but it was closer then. After we enlisted in the Marine Corps, we talked often then because now we shared the same, you know, uh, stories and same things. Um, but yeah, we just stayed pretty close after that point. But no, he lived in, I was going all over the place. A funny story was he enlisted in the Marine Corps before I did. I actually got him to enlist. Yeah. And so he goes to recruit training and he comes back, and I go to recruit training and I come back, and I'm home on like a leave weekend because I happen to be down in San Diego, and he's home. And every time I'd come home, every couple of months or whatever, he was always home. I'm like, dude, how do you get so much leave time? He goes, oh, I'm in the reserves. I'm like, what? For the life of me, I thought he had gone active duty. And so he was in the reserves, and I'm like, no wonder. And I said, okay, I get it. So, but yeah, I went to school in Maryland. They got stationed back here in San Diego. So we were always near, California, LA, Santa Barbara, so forth. But then when I went to the Gulf War, the first Gulf War in the 90s, he tried to go and put in his package to go on active duty. And he went on active duty, all right, but he went to 23rd Marines in Encino, California. It was an instructor. It's INI, which is a inspector instructor station. So he was on the INI staff there, non-deployable. So he did not go, and it ended sooner than everyone thought it would, anyhow. So, but yeah, so I missed him there, but yeah, we've been pretty much close by, always in contact, if you will, on the phone, or back then on the phone, but now text messaging and so forth.
Right. So you did Spartans, but you did other stuff too, right?
Yeah. So Spartan race, like I said, in 2012, we did that first one in Malibu. And then after that, it just escalated from there really bad. Almost like you know, adrenaline junkies. But yeah, we went and we started doing, we did San Jose, we did, Temecula when it was there a couple times. But we didn't just do it by ourselves. We started to bring in family and friends, groups of friends that we knew. And we really enjoyed, like I said, the camaraderie and being there. So we got to know the staff real well. We got to know registration people, and we would go and volunteer at the Spartan races, and that's how we sort of got even deeper, because now we knew the people. We'd show up and they, oh, Matt and Dingo over here, and they, we want them to work for us, either registration or volunteer group, or at one of the obstacles, the build crew, what have you. But yeah, we just started to get really known, and I mean, it was funny. I think it was at one of the Malibu races. We were literally it was like a sideshow. The what do you call that person that stands out front of the circus, telling people to come in? Yeah, we were like that out front, telling people, come on in. You're gonna have it was a great time. We're joking and laughing and meeting people and getting them, all hyped up for their race. That's a good time. But yeah, we just started doing them all over the place. You name it, we were. We didn't go back east, because obviously a lot of them were here in California. But from the Midwest to the West, in Montana, just Texas. We went to Texas, yeah, all over Spartan races.
So did the nicknames come from the military?
Say again?
Did the nicknames come from the military?
Actually, no. I actually had a different name when I was in the military, but MAP came from, I was working overseas as a contractor, and a friend of mine started calling me that, MAP, miniature assault person. Yeah, if you haven't noticed, I'm not a big guy, so but yeah, it was pretty interesting. So miniature assault person. And then my brother was with Naval Special Warfare, and they couldn't, well, I don't think that they couldn't pronounce Dominguez, but they said, yeah, that's just way too long. You're not Dingo. Dingo years ago. So it just stuck.
So what you said you had a different nickname before?
It was just a close group of friends. They used to call me Bear.
Because
I wrestled in high school. So if you watch, I think it was like old shows or something, the Russian bears, and
yes,
the big wrestlers would wrestle these Russian bears, and so that's why they started calling.
Even though you were like, what did you wrestle? 118,
115.
Whoa!
When I was in high school, I was wrestling 98s.
Wow.
105s.
Wow.
When I wrestled for the Marine Corps team, I was 115.
But I was asking, did you guys do other stuff besides Spartan? Did you do Go Rucks? Did you do marathons?
So, like I said, it escalated from there. So we would do 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons. I'm not exactly sure if he got into those particularly, but I had done a few. And like I said, it just escalated from there. I was doing go rucks, just a lot of different stuff, and he would jump in here and there and do different things as well. A lot of endurance event type things.
When when you guys aren't together, do you experience magical twin telepathy? Do you guys have that going on?
Um, it's interesting, which is hard to say now. It's um, whatever happens to him happens to me. Whatever happens to me happens to him. He gets a black eye, I get a black eye. Yeah, it was just interesting. Well, growing up, it's been a while since it's been that way, but um, as I mentioned earlier, when he tried to go on active duty, he went to 23rd Marines, and it was a reserve unit. He was on the I&I staff. I got out of the Marine Corps several years later after the Gulf War. I got out, and I decided to go back in. And when I went back in, I went in the reserves. Guess where I went? 23rd Marines, I&I staff, Encino,
Right.
California. So I get there, and the people that he knew were still there. So it's interesting. We
So
share those type of things.
so talk to me kind of about like what led us to talk today. Like what about the recent events?
So Dingo was training to do, I think it was called World's Toughest Row, I believe, or something to that effect, uh, or Word Bound. But it's a rowing competition and endurance event that you row an ocean. Uh, and so he was getting prepared to row the Atlantic. So there was his teammate,
The entire Atlantic,
the entire Atlantic.
like from here to England,
Yeah. Or the opposite direction.
England to here.
Correct.
Okay.
But I think they were doing it from another direction. But he was going to get ready to do that, I believe. And so there were 3 legs, and he was going to be doing one of them because his teammate was going to be doing the Pacific, the Atlantic, and the Indian Ocean. And she'd be the first woman who ever rowed all 3. I can't remember for sure. I believe she's done the Atlantic and the Pacific. Don't It might have been the Pacific twice, but I know that she's rowed an ocean, and if not twice at least, and that's pretty damn impressive.
Yes.
And so, yeah, they're specialized boats. They're not your typical rowboat as people would think they are. Um, if you go to my brother's page, I think, or even my page, you can see there's a picture of him actually standing next to the boat that they were on. So they are preparing to do these distances, and so, but they need training area. So they'll go to different locations to train, whether it be in the ocean or the lake. And so he had actually just recently picked up the boat in Florida and drove it up to Flathead Lake in Montana, and they were doing some training on the water there.
So when did I guess? Can you tell people like what they told you happened?
So this would be the 15th, which I think believes is a Tuesday. I received a call. I was at work and I received a call that there was an incident. In having we both military law enforcement backgrounds, and having a law enforcement background, I know how civilians can be sometimes, and the information was just choppy, bad phone signal, and just this is what happened, but I don't have the details. So I took a breath and I said, okay, let me reassure them, hey, I will look into this further and figure this out, and we'll go from there. So I got off the phone, I went home, and I started call the individuals closely, to what happened. And so once I found out what had happened, then it's just piecing out the details.
But did law enforcement not call you first? Was it the people on the boat that called you first?
No, it was friends that called me first, and then I called the actual person on the boat that was on the boat, or got to speak to them, and got the details from them.
Right.
Then it was law enforcement and so forth. Because they notify, I think next of kin type of thing. So that would be his wife that they called. Um, but yeah, they told me that they went out on the lake, and it was the 14th, evening the 14th. When he got there, they did their preparations, got on the lake, and the weather turned bad on them quicker than they thought it would. And it's unfortunate. Mother Nature, we don't dictate what she does. Mother Nature does what it wants. And so the weather turned bad and the boat capsized. And he was pushed further from the boat.
Did they mention? I'm not trying to blame anybody. This is just me thinking out loud.
Yes,
Like
sir.
with military background, like looking at maps and charts and weather maps. Like, did it just like the weather didn't do what it was supposed to do? Like, hey, we're okay, and then the storm like rolled in.
Yeah. For your viewers and your listeners, I would definitely say this. When you watch your meteorologist on TV, and they say something, you go outside, it's completely different.
Yes.
Think of that. Always think of that first. So they did do their due diligence on
Right.
2 or 3 different apps. They made a call and said, "Hey, what are you seeing?" Same thing. You've got this little bit of a storm coming in. You've got you've got these hours of window to work in. No
Right.
problem. Get on the water. Um, and again, being military and law enforcement, uh, heck, being an endurance athlete, if you're not training in the rain, you're not training. If you're not training in the cold, you're not training. If you're
Right.
not training in the heat, you're not training. You're a fair weather trainer, so when you get out on the actual course, you will probably fail. So there are variables involved, and you do a risk analysis of it and say, hey, is the risk worth it? We got a little bit of wind, it's a little bit chop,
Right.
it's nothing overboard or out of control, or are we getting on the water? Definitely. I mean, it's it's one of those things. It's you do your risk assessment, your risk analysis, and say, okay, is this worth the time that we're going to need to put in? And then they're working against other variables as well. They've got to do so many hours of training. One of the other teammates is from England, so he's in the States, but he's only got a short window, and there's only so much training time that you can squeeze in and so forth. Um, and so everything seemed, good to go. So they got on the water. But again, that weather changed on them sooner than they thought. And that's, you can't really blame anyone um, for that. Like I said, Mother Nature, she does what she wants to do.
So how does it work when they say, "Hey, we're calling this off"? Like we just like how hard is that for you, or just kind of what has this process been like for you?
Uh, what do you mean by calling it off?
Like when
They,
they said,
oh,
like, "Hey, we're not going to search anymore,"
oh,
and
the
now,
search.
yeah, yeah,
So it was a little difficult because I was actually leaving that. It was on a Friday, and they said, "Hey, yeah, we're pausing the search." And again, law enforcement background, pause sounds a lot like we're not searching anymore. And I get it. I'm not a dummy. I understand. They've got resources. They can only exhaust so many resources. Somebody's got to pay for this. And it's obviously your 911 services, which are paid by taxes and so forth. And I get it. I totally get it. Um, if this had been any other family, it'd have been the same situation. They'd say, hey, we exhausted resources at this point. And looking at history or looking at statistical analysis of this, we may or we may not find him. It just depends. But at this point, we're going to put a pause. They have one of the neighboring counties has a boat. They got brand new gear on it, but it was going to take them approximately 30 days to get it all set up. And so I went home that Friday and just thinking to myself, okay, well, maybe we can figure out another way to do this. And so I called the gentleman that was on the search that they called, Gene Ralsted. Um, and he's the guy. They were calling around, hey, can you guys come out? And they said, hey, if you guys can get a hold of Gene, he's the guy. After about the third phone call, of everybody saying the same thing, they reached out to him. He came out from Idaho. So he was out there during that time too. And so it all ended. And so he went home, and so that Friday when I went home, um, I gave him a call a few days later, and I said, "Hey, what would it take to get you back out there?" And he said, "Yeah, let's do this. I don't. I believe, as what he says, I believe with the information that we have a good chance of finding him." And so we're heading back out there on the 18th. He's refitted his boat. We have some other assets to bear down on the search, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. I'm sorry. Hang on. I'm really sorry. There's a guy here to
No
fix
worries.
a broken window. Hang on a second.
Wonderful.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, not at all.
So, so you're tell people where it is, by the way, in Montana.
Flathead Lake. Yes, Flathead Lake, Montana.
How big is this lake?
I believe it's 27 miles in length from north to south, and about 15 miles wide.
Well, I mean that is massive, but I feel like it's a lot better than the ocean. Like you got a shot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it even narrows it down there because um, the boat captain had the GPS tracker on and was recording everything. So they have exactly where they were moving in the water via GPS tracking points or waypoints. And when analyzing it, they have an idea of pretty much pinpoint of where the boat capsized and they were in the water.
So then why did this first search fail then?
Uh, I couldn't tell you. Uh, Not my realm. I don't do that, so I couldn't tell you why they couldn't find or couldn't see what they couldn't see or didn't see. I don't know. Um, but again, it's about 200 feet of water, so it's almost like looking for a needle
Right.
in the haystack.
But
So
it sounds like I'm guessing it here. It's more of a depth issue, and this guy's got the equipment that searches deeper better.
sonar. So they're using
Right.
sonar. Yeah, but you got to remember how things move in water. Um, it's funny because one moment I'm being told there are no currents in lakes, and the next moment they're telling me that there are currents in lakes, and so it's a give and take. I'm looking for a large mass of a water entry, and it really isn't. So it sort of, if you will, trickles into that lake because it's so damn big. So I can't imagine it being a lot of current under the water. Definitely on top because of the wind. Um, but when it stays, it's still. But now you're going to look at how something sinks. Most things that are weighted, they'd have to be weighted pretty heavy to sink straight
Right.
down. Where most items won't sink straight down. They'll do that back and forth, and next thing you know, they're not anywhere near, and that's 200 feet. So, I have to leave it to the experts to figure out how to triangulate that and, um, get that and find them.
So you've got the GoFundMe set up. What else can folks do if they want to help? Like, do you want people to come help, or just money is fine? Or
I honestly, I got that question constantly while I was out there, because the Spartan race community, the community itself, the people were fantastic. Tactical games community. I remember a lot of people reached out and said, "Hey, we can get boots on the ground immediately." And I said, "Well, it's not like we're walking through the forest. We're not looking for somebody that's wandering
right.
around in the forest. It's not. He's in the water. So unless you have a boat and sonar, maybe deep sea dive equipment, because you can't dive that far. Um, then I would love to have everybody come out, you know, hell, everybody bring a bucket and we'll empty that damn lake. But it's not feasible, and I feel terrible because some people just they feel helpless, and I get it. I feel helpless. I can't do anything. And then again, it's not. This is not my realm either. I don't do search and rescue this way. Um, I couldn't tell you. So we created the GoFundMe to cover a lot of the expenses that's going to really impact us when we find him, getting him back home to Santa Barbara, um, getting paying for resources and so forth. Because yeah, there are some hidden costs that we don't know about just yet. So we're just trying to navigate all that. It has helped considerably. People have been more than generous, and we're very thankful. But if I could have everyone come out and help, that would be amazing. But I'm not going to have people. Not that they waste their time. It's just that we're going to impede on other people doing what they need to do to get stuff
So
done.
the gentleman that does have the boat, you're just going to go out and then, go to this approximate area and then just search basically until you find him.
Yes. So, like I said, he's got detailed information on where to look, and he's got ideas as well. He's got sonar and whatnot. Now, there's a couple other people that are going to be going out as well. Um, I just Mr. Crossman, I think it is. But they have an autonomous. Is that correct? Autonomous drone with a. I think that's the right word, but nonetheless, they can program this thing to search in grids. So that's amazing, and it's got video and the whole bit. So they're going to send that thing down there, and they're going to search the edge of the water.
So what is the
And
weight on then specifically? Like, why is it the 15th? I guess, or what date is it? Did you say?
the fifth of when
When
missing.
no, when you go
Oh,
the
the
18th, which
18th.
is 5 days from when we're
Yeah,
recording this.
correct.
Can he not get out there sooner, or that's as soon as you can get there?
That's as soon as he can get out there. And the reason why is because again he was doing maintenance on his boat.
Got it.
Gene was. And I don't even know if that other crew is set up yet. These are different assets that are being brought in. Um, and so, again, these are, underwater assets, you know. So what we did, my brother and I, my older brother, Armando and I, Mondo, um, with the money that's come in, we bought a underwater drone ourselves. It's got a camera. I just practiced using it in the pool the other day. And next thing we're going to get, I think, is this. It's a small device, but it does sonar. Um, Now, I'd have to go back because I got a little bit instruction from Gene of what he's looking at and how he sees and how to read the sonar images and so forth. So we're going to take this stuff out there and say, Gene, show us what we should be looking for. And then we're going to conduct our own search in some of the areas that we have an idea. But not to impede on what they're doing because they're the meat of they're the meat and potatoes of this search. We're just going to go and do cursory searches elsewhere that we have an idea that where he might be, you know, um, leaving no stone unturned, if you will.
So
So
I know you said there was a couple of GoFundMe's. Should we just share the one that I see is oops, the one that I see on your that's under the video of you talking for a long time? Is that the one we should share? The one that says "Help Matt find Dingo 11K goal."
yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a good one to use. So again, all those proceeds that we've been collecting are for, when we find him. This is all going towards the search, towards the recovery, and getting him home. There's no, you know, uh, additives to it, if you will, except for obviously paying for any unforeseen expenditures that come up for the search.
All right. I guess anything else you want to tell us before we stop?
No, it's he's impacted a lot of people. I get messages from time to time. It is interesting. Everybody always reaches out and says, you're probably inundated with messages and phone calls. And the funny part is, no, nobody really has called or messaged, which I thought was interesting. But I appreciate everyone's uh, um, space. But yeah, it's nice to hear from people to tell me, I've met 2 people now. I had no clue they existed, but he's made an impact on them, and so now they're my ward. That I'll keep an eye on them now. I will reach out to them from time to time, as he did, to make sure they're okay and make sure that they're staying the course and getting things done in their lives and staying positive. That's probably one of the coolest things I've learned about my brother is that there are a lot of people that he's impacted, and he's made a difference in their lives, and they're just beside themselves. I spoke to someone the other day that just can't realize it yet. They haven't come to the realization that he's gone, and it's hard for them. And I get it. I think some people are or might be. I mean, I don't know how to put it, but it's the way I have been. I haven't lost it or anything like that. It's because there's a task to be done here. I need to go find him. And until that's done, then I'll take a breath and reflect and what have you. But there's much more to be done, and I need to get this done for my family at minimum, and then for everyone else for closure.
All right, I'm going to take you off record.